Hello, and welcome to episode 26 of the Digital Quill podcast. Today we are joined by Nathan, who will be talking with us today about everything involving Nintendo, Nintendo Switch 2, and the drama and kind of the stuff going on in that world. I've been interested in talking about this subject actually, and I didn't want to do it alone, so thank you, Nathan, for being here with us today. Let's get into it. What do you got to say so far?
How's it going, everyone? You ready to be very frustrated nerds for a minute here? So, just as, frame of reference, let's get into some gaming and background. My first memory is gaming memory is Super Mario 1 on the original NES, right? So I've had like every Nintendo console up until the Wii U I skipped. We all skipped that one. Mm-hmm. And I've just kind of had the Switch through other people have always played it, but I stopped at the Wii, right? Very into the 3DS, though. That was a hell of an ecosystem. Probably their second golden age, I'd say. Back, when Reggie Fils-Aimé and the insanity of all those E3s and promos and the street passing, all of it. Great. So I love Nintendo. And just kind of adapted into the PS4 scene more and stuck with that around that time rather than picking up a Switch, which I've just kind of been admiring from the side, seeing all these amazing games and everything that's come out for it. The library is huge, and I am a physical game collector, and I'm just going, holy shit, there's so many cool fucking physical game releases that I missed out on, I'm sure, and they're all expensive now. But that being said, I was hyped for all these rumors and what started off with the Switch Pro that everyone kept talking about and eventually turned into the OLED, right? Mm-hmm. Which was basically the same thing, just better screen.
Which, having an OLED, we'll get into my side of the OLED in a little bit, but it's such a nice system, and I actually am now I've gone from an angry or a regular consumer who's absolutely infatuated with Nintendo to a person with some pitchforks who's a little angry. So back to you.
Yeah, so that's another kind of thing that's kept me away from the Switch is it didn't have that initial fun and amazingness and quirkiness that the 3DS and DS and Wii and all that had. So the idea was, okay, we'll see if this Pro is ever going to come out. I'll get the better one. I've got a 4K TV, so I'm like, I'll get the upgrade. Fucking rumors. It's like, well, okay, if they'll do a sequel system and it'll be backwards compatible, then I'll jump in. And so, waiting, and all this hush-hush rumors about Switch 2 and all this and that. Anything we knew was all just leaks before. Nintendo barely ever said anything. But now it's like, okay, maybe I'll get a Switch 2. And now that it's here, it's like...
Do you really want to?
Do you really? Because it's like, okay... There's some catch-22s being thrown around now.
The first catch-22 I can think of is some stories I've been hearing about how GameStop employees are taping the receipt, or not taping, excuse me, that's how I did it when I was working at GameStop. Why are we stapling the receipt to the front of console boxes? But also, Nintendo, I have a question for you. Why isn't your system a little more protected, and why aren't we instructing employees not to use staples?
Thinking that myself, it's like, okay,
don't you have like a sheet on how to display your systems or something? Like, isn't there like a how-to guide that you want?
I don't know how whoever GameStop employees got to this practice of stapling a receipt to a box. That's like, I don't know. You see them do that at Home Depot on something. But yeah, the packaging, why is it only stapler deep? What if any other normal puncture in shipping occurs, Then you're screwed out of a hole.
Yeah, like you're fucking clumsy and you trip going up your stairs or something. Like, I don't know, like, as a sometimes clumsy person, I know there's a lot of things that can happen between getting it from the store, getting it home, and also Shipping.
Oh, yeah.
I've found some damaged stuff in shipments when working retail.
But, so as far as getting a Switch 2 and all the excitement that it could be, right?
Mm-hmm.
There's tons of things that, about it that I want to do and use and play and all this stuff. Like, being that I didn't get the Switch 1 and a Zelda fan, I'm like, hell yeah, I'll take better upgraded versions of Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom. There's tons of games. I wrote out too many thinking of all the ones that I would play on it, looking at the list of games. So it's like, it'd be so easy as a fan of all these things to just dive in and be like, yes, give me all this Super Nintendo awesomeness. But I'm just torn at all this stuff that they've been doing, like, since, what's his name, Doug Bowser took over as the president. I don't think he's the president anymore, but it's just like, that started this less fun initiative and more, let's just kind of do what everyone else is doing and roll with the corporate greed side of it and start trying to squeeze out as much money as possible and do things, I don't know, more mobile gaming focused and try to get the payments and subscriptions. And now it's also their legalities have always kind of been questionable. They've been taking down so much for anything and everything. Like,
It's true.
emulation, that the whole Pal World thing, which they've been doing so weird. They're trying to patent gaming mechanics rather than, like, the obvious thing, go after the designs of the pals in Pal World. I don't... their logic and reasoning never seems to make sense, and it's, like, overly protective of their kind of stuff,
What I don't understand is how Nintendo can get away with some of the clauses in their terms of agreements. And I know those clauses stem from other companies too, like the Disney has done it. Disney had it done to a nice person, I think, an older lady, I believe, who signed up for a free trial of Disney Plus. And she went to a Disney parks one day and got hurt, and she tried to sue, and she couldn't. Like, I will try to find that article and link it, like anything that helps. But
I think it was worse than that. I think it was a husband trying to sue for the death or injury of the wife or something.
I really hope it wasn't worse than that, but
it is pretty bad. But let's see. I'd say we can bring that up, I guess, right now.
I want to bring that up right now.
Front load up that whole. Ooh, because it's all about what they get you to agree to, right? You scroll past the fine text and you click the A button just to start playing your games. That's where they get you, obviously, and of course, but the biggest thing is what they've kind of been getting in trouble for, like, on their side of things, is the faulty equipment of the Joy-Cons in the last Switch that were never resolved. Another mild reason I never picked up the first one. Like, I would need alternatives to the controllers it comes with. And so they got class action lawsuit because of all this. And now, which I guess those class action lawsuits were dismissed, which is really unfortunate because it didn't set a precedent. So now that just came out, the teardowns of the Joy-Cons are basically the same on the Switch 2. Well, not the same, but, will still lead to drift. But now what they're doing in this, their end user license agreement, the EULA, is there's a clause in there to where you are agreeing to dismiss your forced arbitration, I guess. What's it called? To where if this Joy-Con drift or anything else happens again and, you want to sue them for their faulty practices and the way they're putting stuff out, you cannot. You agree to it, and then now you can't sue them. Just like Disney. And this poor family who signed up for a trial, didn't even pay for Disney Plus. I don't even think they knew it. that was also part of the story. They had no idea they were signed up to Disney, and suddenly they couldn't sue for something that their part caused. So it's like, if you buy, the new Nintendo, then yeah, it's you're agreeing that you're just going to take it as it is, and if it's goes bad or something is wrong with it, then they don't care. They're going to just tell you to buy a new one. Makes them money in the long run and saves their butts from losing a lot of money and having to fix a lot of shit that they knew was wrong, right?
What was that video earlier we were watching talking about when it came to the arbitrations and the Clause J, when they were talking about the letter thing?
Yeah. So
the 30-day right to opt out?
Hidden in there, 30 days after you click that A button to agree to the fine print, there actually is a way to opt out of that, so you can sue them or participate in any future class action lawsuits. And it's in, let's see, Section 7, or Article 7, Section J of the EULA is your 30-day right to opt out. You have the right to opt out of the arbitration requirement in this Section 7 by sending in written notice of your decision to opt out to the following address: Nintendo of America Inc., attention CS admin, 4600 150th Avenue, Northeast Redmond, Washington, 98052, within 30 days of purchasing the Nintendo video game console. Such notice must include the name of each person opting out and contact information for each such person, the serial number of the applicable consoles, and if applicable, your purchase receipt. So you send in the timely written notice containing this information about the arbitration requirement, and Section 7 will not apply to you.
Or Nintendo, and the parties will settle any claims on an individual basis in accordance with Section 10. If you do not send such notice, then you are agreed to be bound by the arbitration requirement in this Section 7. Now, I found an interesting clause. I'm not going to read all of it, because you can find it on Nintendo's website yourself. But under I, under mass arbitrations, there is bolded letters that says mass arbitrations may only be filed in arbitration as permitted by the process set forth below. Applicable statutes of limitations will be told for claims asserted in a mass arbitration from the time a compliant claim and notice has been received by a party until this agreement permits such mass arbitration to be filled in arbitration or court. Now, when I'm not a lawyer, but when I'm reading this, when I read if 25 or more claimant notices are received by a party that raise similar claims and the same or coordinated counsel, these will be considered mass arbitrations. All I'm reading when I see this under mass arbitrations, is we need to rally together. There's strength in numbers. And they would be afraid of 25 or more of us. And I bet we could get more than 25. I bet they're afraid of that. So I don't know. I'm not a lawyer, and I'm not like rich or anything. I'm kind of just a stupid simpleton, but
there is something to that opt-out, just in the fact that they hide it away and only give you the option of writing in to be able to opt out of this.
Not an email.
Yeah.
Not like a user term agreement that you can like hit a checkbox on your phone, but a write-in opt-out?
Can't even call them up.
Like, can I type it? I don't think I can type it. I think it's a write-in only.
But just the fact that they probably don't expect people to take advantage of that and be able to protect their rights and be able to basically put them in their place with any kind of such future litigations and whatnot. It's really funny because a lot more people are noticing, I think, because like even we wouldn't be too noticed about this But a lot of it is really weird, especially if, once it comes to a lot of like right to repair sort of things. Because people buy all sorts of devices, and we're slowly heading towards this point to where all they want you to do is just keep buying new devices.
And also, they don't really want you to buy third-party devices unless those third parties are somehow licensed by Nintendo, which at that point, are those third parties even really, third parties? If they're recognized by the major corporation that they fall under?
Yep. It's only who they want approved. And, repair shops, for instance, or even parts distributors. They don't want widely available parts or repair shops in case, stuff gets broken. They either want you to pay their exorbitant fees and send it into them, which is kind of something they've always done but been a little bit better about, Nintendo. Or, at this point, it sounds like they just want you to buy a whole new system. Because if you do any kind of such tampering, opening any kind of course, hacking or customization, or just the weird things about like using the Nintendo account or data as it's not intended. Like if you log into different friends' systems with your account, will they think that's weird and start locking out your friends' systems or something? They say they own, or they have the right to render the console useless or inoperative or whatever. They will brick your system if you do anything weird to it. Like,
let's just be clear. They're going to brick the system that you paid anywhere between $300 to like $700 for.
Yeah.
They're going to render the item that you purchased with your money absolutely useless.
And it's basically up to what they decide, and it's really kind of sad, because it's like, how much do you want us to buy? And you buy the system that we can't do anything with, and the games that we don't own, and subscribe to the monthly thing that used to be totally free on everything. The online services.
Gotta love subscriptions.
Just in case, it's even like if there's like a voltage glitch in the system or something, like too much amperage somewhere, like we'll trip it off because of people opening stuff up and tampering, of course, is what they're thinking. But you could get like a power surge or a power outage, and suddenly Nintendo goes, oh shit, what are you doing? Guess you can't play Mario Kart World anymore.
I know some people who have gotten their Switch systems, primarily like their OLEDs and like just their lights and stuff, from like Facebook Marketplace, and you don't necessarily always know who you're getting systems from when you do that, but it's still a system and you purchased it, right? Like you used money, you went to the place. Anyway.
eBay, Amazon.
There are people I know that have done that, and for some suspicious reason that I can only assume has to do with Nintendo's policies, they can't use the Nintendo eShop without loading gift cards. Like, they can't use PayPal, they can't use their their own debit card or their bank account or anyone else's bank account. They have to use gift cards, and it's wild.
They are starting to flag those console serial numbers as some such sort of way that they don't like. So they're going to lock it out in various levels here and there. Either ban the online, or limit the payment options, or limit certain functionalities, or just now they're just going to brick your Switch 2s if they see something they don't like. And it could be anything that trips it up. Can you even buy these systems used?
Can you trust that your system is going to function as normal as the system is intended to do, or are you at the mercy of Big Papa?
We've come full circle from almost 10 years ago now, or whatever it was, when the Xbox One was announced, and there was the whole big deal about how it was going to be online only, and you wouldn't be able to use games and trade them around unless you owned it, and it was tied to the account, blah blah blah. And then PS4 won by going, here's how you trade games, and they just hand a fucking game to the other CEO or whatever. that whole thing is now, well, I guess we're always online now, and you have to have requirements and tied to accounts, and you don't own anything anymore. It's like, where was the gumption and common sense to be able to use a really expensive fucking machine system player that you bought? Because at the end of the day, it's just a machine. It is a thing that you're going to use in the privacy of your own home, or I guess, there are public events and whatnot, but those can be, sanctioned and official, whatever. Or even just a few friends still. It's like, you should be able to do whatever you want to with that system. Including if it broke and you can replace the screen yourself, then just buy a new screen and replace it. But I'm sure they're going to want to charge you almost the price of a new system to do that. I don't know. I guess they did offer free repairs for Joy-Cons after the class action lawsuits was their only reprimand. I guess that's something. They did something. But then they apparently still built the new Joy-Cons the same way. So that's one thing it could be.
Speaking of building things the same way, I was considering getting the Nintendo Switch 2. I know, shocker. But here's the thing. When I was going to play my Nintendo Switch OLED the other day, probably like 2 or 3 weeks ago, sometime in early May, I ended up getting an update. And I'm like, oh, cool, an update. They told us this was coming out. So the user interface changed. They added the stuff that they added, the things you probably have on your own right now. I don't have a visual representation, so I can't just talk about that, but
we now have to call them all game cards, even if they're just
virtual game cards at that.
Yeah.
And it's like really strange, but anyway, not on that note, like I think I've already technically signed up for the new terms of agreements, because it dawned on me that the terms of agreements is not specific to Nintendo Switch 2. It is Nintendo Switch itself, or not Nintendo Switch, Nintendo itself. And I'm like, oh my god, that's right. So technically I'm now a part of the new BS, even though I didn't really want to be. And anyway, it's a personal journey. I'm sorry, I'm tangenting, but like,
it's still the fact though that, well, new systems coming out, new end user license agreement,
new No Man's Sky graphics.
We're not dropping the price of the old system. We're going to have it sit on the shelves for people who can't find the new system, because of course it's going to be scarce, I'm sure. Haven't followed that. I'm sure it's sold out everywhere.
I mean, but speaking on like the not changing things, like you would assume that they would change the battery life and make it better. Nope. You would assume that they would take the model of the Switch OLED with the really nice screen and not go back to the LCD. Also, no. So, Nintendo, I have another question for you. Why couldn't you upgrade the screen on the Switch 2, and why are we going to have to wait for another system? Because I know that's what you're going to do.
They do like their revisions. How long till the Switch 2 XL?
Switch 2 XL Pro.
Or is it just going to be a rumor for 6 more fucking years?
The Switch 2.0?
Yeah.
The 2.1? I don't know.
2.1.
2.2. It adds an extra inch.
It's sad because I do want to switch to, but I don't.
I think I will switch to getting a PS5 with VR instead, because I'd like to try Just Dance without having to hold a controller. I mean, I still have to hold a controller, wouldn't I, with VR? I don't know how PS5 works.
They're different controllers. They're little hand circly thingies, like some of the PC VR
They look
VR
like
sets.
a glowy microphone.
That's the Move controllers with the light bulbs on top. Well, they're not light bulbs. They're squishy. They're rubber. They look like big light bulbs, though.
I'm gonna need to see one of these in person for science.
They're amusing to use, but that was the old tech. but
I forget. Do you still have your 4, don't you?
yep, I have PS3, PS4, and I've got the Move controllers with the big light bulbs on top. I don't have the PSVR though. I've played it. It's pretty good, and it uses the PS3 Move controllers.
Mm.
But they made new controllers for the VR2.
The one thing, I'm probably going to end up getting a Switch 2, but not for like another year or 3. My Switch
Yeah.
OLED still works just fine. I'm still enjoying Roots of Pacha, and No Man's Sky is passable, but I'm really am going to be thinking about those graphics
It's really
and the
sad,
frames per second.
because I really wanted to get one just based on the principle of it existing,
Same.
and now the principle has entirely changed almost.
Yeah.
It's like, it's definitely a wait and see. I don't think they're going to change their tune,
No.
but I feel like enough people need to start taking notice of how their rights were just taken away with the push of your A button on a controller. And a lot more people might ought to try this
The writing
write-in.
in.
Yep. Opt out of that.
I know I will be doing it for sure because this is also for science. You guys know my motto,
Yeah.
fuck around and find out. Well, this is me fucking around and finding out. I was one of the fucking crusaders that brought back the original flavor for Lay's Flaming Hot Chip. I have the coupons from Lay's to prove it.
Yes.
I never turned those in because when they sent me them and they were like, thank you for your input about our missing chip flavor, I was like, the fuck you mean you're sending me coupons for this? Bring back the flavor or send me an entire pallet for it. I know you have it back there. Also, side note, stepping from the Nintendo to Lay's because I'm on that subject, where is the Lay's Flaming Hot Dill? Why did you sacrifice it to bring back the Flaming Hot original? Bring it back. You can have both. I know you can. Bring them back.
Every flavor of chip should come in its original flavor, a flaming hot version, a flaming hot limon version, and a flaming hot dill pickle version, and an extra flaming hot version for y'all crazy people out there. Sorry, I'm just trying to... I like selections. We need to have assortments and selections always available.
Variety is the spice of life.
But yeah, more people definitely need to really try to send some kind of a message to Nintendo. Opt in, protect your legal rights, because they're probably going to get sued again. And class action lawsuits, they're not about a big payday for you or anything. Like, I think I was in some data breach one at some point, and there was like, you get 10 or 12 bucks in a check in the mail like 2 years later. It's like you don't even have to sign up for it. But the fact that you put your name down on it and participated in it is what sends the message. The more people that add on to one of those is what gets it to pass. And I don't think enough people sign up for that Joy-Con thing. So I'm not saying it's going to happen again. It could. Or it could be something entirely else. People's systems getting bricked for nothing. It could become some massive failsafe if they don't update it or take it away. Or just
Better
those...
to be safe than sorry, I suppose.
Yeah, or those game key cards. I feel like those are just going to be nothing but problems and issues. I don't know.
Yeah, I have a problem with that. Why the hell are our digital games technically like online games now? Like, have we really gone the way of basically owning things to nothing we own we own nothing? We actually own nothing in this materialistic world? Is that what's going on here?
Mm-hmm.
It's crazy.
And it's such a slap in the face to me as a physical game collector, because it's like, oh, they see the problem. They want the physical game. They want to stick the cartridge in the system. Here's a thing that tells our internet to download the game for you, and you're still sticking a cartridge in the system. It's like, no.
What if I don't want internet anymore?
I don't want to download every single little game that's 50 plus gigabytes. And I'm like,
and have to buy additional storage.
yeah. And I don't understand. The cartridge storage should be, like, I know it's faster and more advanced now, of course. But it doesn't seem like a 50-something gigabyte game, which is pretty big for a game. I mean, like, 128 gigabytes is nothing on an SD card nowadays. The game should fit on the cartridge. Why are they being lazy or charging publishers more for money to put these games on there? I don't know. Half of the games that I wrote down, it's like any of the third-party ones are going to be these key cards that don't have the game, like Street Fighter 6 and Bravely Default. Freaking, I think Yakuza 0, which I really want to play because they got the English dub on there, and those are always amusing for Yakuza. Anyways, it's like, we gotta tell them something. Put out, email them that you want the full games on the cartridges. Opt out of the Section 7 or Section J, whatever. We should be able to use our systems and just play the games and not have to be tied legally into and down by the corporation who wants to just keep throwing money at them no matter what they do, because it's not fair. They exist because of us, like, we bought all these fucking Nintendos growing up, and here they are now, and they're trying to screw us over. So that is my take on that.
That's a pretty decent take, and I feel like a majority of the community probably agrees with you on that one. I mean, it does kind of seem that way based on some of the articles and videos we've been reading and watching.
There's always the discourse online, though, and a lot of people come to defend them based on just their child-friendly image, like Disney, or the nostalgia, because they grew up on Nintendo and they're some kind of diehard Nintendo till they die sort of fan.
And don't get me wrong, I get it. Nintendo was my favorite first system. I mean, before I was on PC, before I had a picture of me taken in my diapers on a PC, falling asleep at it, I did play around on a Nintendo 64. I remember the very first game I ever played was probably GoldenEye 007. Yes. That's on 64, right?
Yep.
All right.
That's the one.
Yeah, well, that was the first game I ever have a memory of playing. I was probably 2, maybe 3 years old. But, it was a good game. I missed that game. I've been trying to find that feeling since. Anyway, I ended up actually owning, like, my own personal self a Wii when it came out. And Endless Ocean and The Dog Island were, like, my go-to jams because life was hard back then and I could escape into that. And those were, like, the thing. And really hoping they make a better Endless Ocean remake. What did you guys do to Luminos? How dare you? But also bring back the Dog Island and maybe add the Cat Island, because that would be really fucking cool to have a cat version of that game, since internet has been taken a storm by cats.
Should see what happened to those developers, because that was a while ago. I don't know if that team's still around.
Maybe.
But the license might be in someone's hands. They could remaster it easily, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Add new features.
I mean, they did that with The Sims Kingdom and The Sims, My Sims Kingdom, and the other one, I forget. It was on Wii and also the DS, I think. But yeah, I had the DS, I had Wii, I had GameCube at one point, and the Wii could do GameCube games. I thought that was nifty.
Oh, yeah. And that's another cool thing about the Switch 2. You'll get GameCube games in the Switch 2 online.
And you also get, like, the backwards compatibility of the Switch 1, but, like, not all games at launch have been working well.
Yeah, that's another freaking kicker. Oh my goodness.
Holy crap, Nintendo. Get your shit together.
Can we pull up that list here? Is that still here? I think so.
It might not be.
Oh, yeah, we're trying to look at that list of what was compatible. And just the stuff that stuck out to me were things that I would
might be
want.
under the PDF Switch Plus issues that have been resolved, planned to be resolved, yeah.
Yeah, so the one good thing is they are working on it still. I mean, they're not going to ignore it like PlayStation does. And
Fucking PlayStation.
I'm sure they'll run into third-party walls like Xbox did. Xbox literally got every game that they could backwards compatible legally to play on the new systems. I'm pretty sure, from the 360 and the OG Xbox.
Kill la Kill has a game on Switch?
It does, and PS4. I think it's a harder to find game now, but yeah, another anime fighter, really fun.
I actually might be a little interested.
But yeah, it don't work on Switch 2 though. You'll have to play it on your Switch 1.
It's fine, I don't have a Switch 2.
Well,
sorry to those of you who do.
yeah. Or if you just bought that Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection or the Capcom Fighting Collection 2, apparently those
Apparently
don't work.
Overcooked All You Can Eat doesn't work either, and it's like, Overcooked All You Can Eat is like one of those party games that I feel like most Nintendo Switch owners have, if you have kids or like party games.
There's actually pretty popular games that don't work. What was a bigger one? Oh, Nier Automata, but I guess that's like... Oh, this one makes no sense. Ninja 5-0, that was actually an old Game Boy Advance game, and it just got a re-release, and it's just a Game Boy Advance emulator playing the original game, basically. So it's like, why is that not working?
A game that doesn't make sense to me on why it doesn't work either, and you just scroll past it, it's fine though, is Nobody Saves the World. Like, that works perfectly on my Switch OLED and on, like, the Nintendo Switch. Like... What do you mean? Like, how many games is this? How many games do not currently have, like, full compatibility? Because that's... wow.
These are the ones that stuck out to me right away. It was Crypt of the Necrodancer, the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, Chrono Cross, and Borderlands 3, of all freaking things. Like, big popular games that aren't going to work on the new system if you already own them on the old system.
Secret Neighbor is another one.
There's a lot, actually, and there's a lot in the ones that they have fixed, like games that aren't going to work without that day one patch. So if you buy a system and want to play some of these games, you still need to connect to the internet to be able to do so. Where'd it go? Right there. I found it. It is this one.
I almost feel like, do you have a laptop?
Not anymore, no. It's all old and broken, falling apart.
I
invest someday.
kind of have a second one. I don't know how well it works right now, though. Well, we shall see.
You're thinking that multi-production...
It would help.
Yeah.
Everdream Valley? What? What do you mean Everdream Valley?
Oh, it has been resolved.
Good.
Yep.
Go Vacation.
But it wouldn't play without that day one patch. Or who knows, day 2 by now.
Wow, Little Nightmares. Previously identified issues have been resolved with an update. Nintendo Switch Sports. Game behavior may vary from Nintendo Switch. The frame rate goes to 30 frames per second during football matches and play globally. The game speed does not change. This is planned to be fixed in the near future. Nintendo!
And that was a big release for them.
Nintendo, sweetie! What are you doing? Why are you releasing systems where 90% of your games don't even work? 90% is kind of a large number, and I'm totally exaggerating. But I mean, Pikmin 3?
Holy shit. That's on the list.
Jinx, you owe me a goddamn Coke.
I guess so. and it's on record now.
Saints Row 4? Is that 4? I can't remember.
Yep. IV.
Rocket League? Excuse me. Why did you have issues?
It's been updated.
I mean, yeah,
Don't
but
worry.
still, why'd you have issues?
Smash Bros.
Ultimate.
There's a lot on there. That's a big paragraph.
Let me read that. Game progression may be affected in portions of the in online play when a Nintendo Switch 2 player and a Nintendo Switch player have been matched in matchmaking. If someone is using Mii Fighter, the match may end immediately. Unless this is fixed, please avoid using Mii Fighter in online play as much as possible. Excuse the fuck out of me? What? Let me reread this again to make sure I'm hearing you correctly.
Sorry, y'all. You're gonna have to put away your Jack Blacks and Dr. Phil's.
Your Nancy Drews. Anyway, game progression may be affected in portions of the game. In online play, when a Nintendo Switch 2 player and Nintendo Switch player have been matched in matchmaking. What?
I had a Danny Trejo. I had a Mr. Bean.
I had a Michael Jackson.
Yeah. So yeah, your custom characters. Sorry, broken.
Sorry, I
You
elbowed
almost
it.
broke the mic there.
No, I didn't.
Almost exploded.
Hardly. When creating or
The
editing and
last
saving a Mii
podcast.
Fighter, the thumbnail image showing the Mii Fighter may not be made correctly. What does that mean? This may be improved by saving it again. Again, what does that mean? This is planned to be fixed in the near future. I'm so sure.
Saving images. Is that potential exploit? It's already been hacked. Sorta. It's not gonna really lead to anything, I don't think, yet, but they already did something to it. I wonder if Nintendo bricked their systems, those poor hackers. Just kidding, they're smart enough not to take it online. I'm sure. They know what they're doing. I hope. Please, free the Switch 2. Free it. Free it from the EULA.
Let's see here.
Darksiders?
I like how Capcom Fighting Collection says game progression may be affected in portions of the game. Texture problems may appear on some characters in certain areas. There are plans to fix this soon.
That could be a weird one because there's 3D backgrounds on some of those games. They fixed the Mega Man collection, so maybe it's just on Capcom? Nintendo's not making all their published games work on it. They're probably pushing it onto the developers and publishers. I could see that. It's a Capcom thing, maybe. But then Nintendo's own games don't work, so they're dropping their own ball right on their foot.
Good job, Nintendo. Good job.
Mario Kart World looks so good. The new Donkey Kong looks amazing. Kirby looks amazing. Ugh. Oh, Duskbloods. That game looks badass. New Bloodborne, Elden Ring sort of craziness.
I honestly don't remember all the launch titles for Nintendo Switch 2, but
There's new Hyrule Warriors.
okay, yeah, that one actually looks really good.
I still just need to play Switch 1 games. That's the thing. I'm behind. I stick with my retro stuff.
I need to admit though that even though that price tag on that Mario Kart, is it the Mario Kart one? Yes.
Yeah.
Even though the price tag on the Mario Kart is expensive as hell for no fucking reason, I've had a couple of people bring up good points when I've talked about pricing. We really don't mind as consumers paying the high prices of games if the graphics and the gameplay is actually improving. If you are giving us incomplete games we later have to buy DLC to, and not get free DLC, mind you, but later buy more into, the whole pay-to-play thing, like, get bent. Because No Man's Sky and Minecraft have been giving us free updates for their games that have included new content for free for eons, and it has massively increased the game. I mean, Dreamlight Valley does that too, but they also have paid DLC, and it's like, guys, come on.
That is also still very corporate owned in the Disney realm.
Yeah.
I'm sure they
I
try.
mean, think of
though.
how The Sims does shit. You can't even really
Yeah.
buy the base game anymore.
Well,
Really.
I always just think of Disney Infinity though. They had so much planned for it and kept going, and then suddenly just pulled the whole plug, screwed over all the developers and stuff. But all these free updates and whatnot, No Man's Sky is such a good example because it's like a pet project for them or something. You can tell they love what they're doing into it. Meanwhile, I'm sitting over here waiting for them to fix Batman Arkham Origins on the PS3 and PC. It's still glitched, still broken. Just putting that out because I'm angry 10-something years later after that game came out. I was right there at almost getting 100%, and a side story glitched, and it was never fixed. I was on the last update, and there's no point. Fix your game, but it's too late now. It's too late. Don't leave all these games broken because corporates don't care. Corporations don't care. I don't know. Can't we just have nice things? That's all I want. At the end of all this, I just want a nice Nintendo that plays my nice games that work, mostly. I mean, I grew up in the time of glitches and cheat codes, so let us break the games. Make them complete when they're out, or when they come out.
There is something to be said about, like, the modern day, though. Like, I kind of do like that companies can just update whenever, because back when you were probably gaming, they couldn't just give you an update.
That's true. The Mortal Kombat trilogy, they had to release the disc twice on PS1, and you had to look for the right one because there was some like glitches and save glitches. I don't know. There was a couple instances of stuff like that where it's like, okay, they had to patch it, as in, you know, manufacture a whole new freaking set of discs. But yeah, updates are good to have, not to be exploited as, you know, the DLC and microtransactions. That's gotten way out of hand. But
yes,
that's just part of it now.
that's actually largely part of the reason why it's hard for me to play The Sims anymore. I mean, mostly because I don't have a PC, and that's how I want to play The Sims 4. But like, it's like all the bundles and DLCs, and at one point I did try to justify it because it was like, you know, at some point they like made it where you could buy like the game pack, the expansion pack, and like the stuff pack, and it would be cheaper, and like you could mix and match, and I think they still have that, and like that's like nice, but like why don't they do that more? Why don't they actually like
that's gotten rare. They used to do either like the complete edition or the game of the year edition. And now it's like,
do those even exist anymore?
I can't think of a recent one, a Game of the Year edition. It's like maybe they'll have like a greatest hits version or just a currently manufactured version that has a later update on it, because of course they want the newer version out there and to push their updates. But I think now they just want you to buy the DLC because they realize they can control the price on that whenever they want.
And that's actually another large reason on why I only buy things on sale anymore. And I really need to apologize sometimes because this does extend to like indie games. I tend to only buy you on sale. I'm sorry, but the gaming industry has like ruined my mindset on gaming and buying games. And I feel bad every single time when I do find a good indie game and I bought it on sale and I'm like, damn it, I should have fucking paid full price for this goddamn shit, son of a bitch. Like, that happened with Moonstone Island, I think. Roots of Pacha, too. I think I got that on sale. And I'm like, these are such good games that I'm like, I should have given more money to the developer instead of paying full price for Disney Dreamlight Valley, because that was a fucking mistake and a half. Sorry, chastising myself.
No, it's I get the sentiment, because it's like there's certain developers and things where I see where I'm like, okay, I gotta get that. I'm gonna pre-order it. Or if it was something that I knew about, I'm like, I would have been there day one.
Speaking of games, I think I can finally talk about it or indie games and like cozy games and shit like that. I think I can finally talk about it, considering they just recently released a public demo. Alright, let me get to my Steam account so you can speak some more while I do this.
Speaking of games, oh my goodness, just going back to money grubbing and Nintendo, I can't believe if you saw the list of best-selling games on the Switch 2 already. Besides Mario Kart World, I forget what the second one is. The third one is that $10 welcome tour thing. The thing that should have been like a free demo part of the menu thing. People are actually buying that? What are we doing? What are we doing? Why did you buy that?
Alright, yes, I can officially, technically, sort of, kind of talk about it. I don't know, but the fact that there is a public downloadable demo means that I probably can. I've been a part of a Discord community for a little while for the Collector's Cove game, and technically I didn't sign an NDA, so you can't come after me, guys. But you guys created such a wonderful game, and I got to play test it twice, and I didn't get to play test it as much in the last one because I've been dealing with some stuff, but seriously, you have created such an incredible game. The developer and publisher are both known as Voodoo Duck, and Collector's Cove is basically like this cozy companion game where you kind of live on this like boat, and you get to travel the seas and stuff and visit different islands and like max out your crops. It's all like a really cool thing, and I've watched this team develop this. I like barely just hopped in on the end, but I am endlessly proud of them for the work they've accomplished and the fact that they've created like even a little community over it. Like, go wishlist Collector's Cove on Steam today. Go rate that game and give it high stars, because honestly, if you love cozy games, if you love like exploring and farming and a cute little sea monster that you can rename, but I keep her name Birgit for just Birgit's sake. Anyway, this game is cute. You can decorate, you can customize, you can grow, and
It looks adorable.
it is adorable.
The graphics ain't too bad either.
No,
Full
no.
3D.
I have an HP Envy, and it's not even a gaming laptop. I was playtesting it on this in full graphics, and like the laptop seemed to handle it just fine, and it's a pretty game. Like the team did such good work on this, and I am excited to actually play the demo later. Haha. Thank you guys for releasing it. Go wishlist that shit. I'm not sponsored, but I want to sponsor these guys. So
That's Collector's Cove by Voodoo Duck. Coming soon. Wishlist now. Ta-ta. Why did I do the Netflix noise?
Hey, why did you do that?
It's too simple of a noise. It can't be a generic trailer sound anymore.
It's okay. That's just echolalia or whatever the hell it's called. Lalia?
Echolalia.
Echo la la la? La la
Random
la.
thing stuck in my brain. I don't know.
I think Things Beyond Sound is busy, don't you? I don't think Things Beyond Sound is going to come out here and give their opinion on the whole Nintendo thing.
Well, if that was the plan, it seems to have fallen to the wayside.
That's fine. I'll just shout them out anyway. Go listen to Things Beyond Sound if you're into music, especially local communities and music. You might find some interesting stories in the Arizona community. Bands like Killed by a Yeti and I can't remember the name of the episode. I think it's like Mr. Phantasmo or something like that.
Yeah, that guy looks like a character. Oh my goodness.
I'll link both episodes I'm talking about down in the description below so you'll be able to find them.
Things Beyond Sound podcast.
With your host, Spencer Brillart.
Coming to you from the Digital Quill Media podcast with your host, Mars Wilson.
And if you haven't tuned into the last episode, I've written about him extensively, and hopefully you've listened to the music, but the storyteller also is going to be starting a podcast soon. So I will be putting a website for him down in the link below. Go follow him and give him a shout or give him some love so when that drops, we can all be there to support him.
And give that podcast a listen if you hadn't.
Exactly,
'Cause
yeah, give that episode a
It is
listen.
a good conversation. It is a big podcast, but great things were said.
Thank you for that. Excuse me while I try not to die of embarrassment over here.
Well, there is a good thing going over here. Building up that Digital Quill family.
Do you feel like we can say much more about the Nintendo bullshit in gaming? I feel like I've said all I can. I'm just an angry consumer with my pitchforks out.
I think of it as like the Nintendo Switch 2, the myth and the hype versus the reality. So I'm like, oh my god, I want it so bad but I don't think I'm gonna get it until this shit solves itself. So anyone know where to buy a cheap Switch OLED? You know, I got some games to catch up on.
Is
there.
anyone
you know?
selling an OLED because they have a Switch too?
Yeah. Yeah.
And for science, can I test out your Switch too?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't mind playing one once it got down to it. The games look fine. I will play it. I don't want to own it because I'm not really owning it. So, might as well just play it at a friend's because that's, as long as they're not charging you for it.
You know, I have an interesting point that just came across my brain. Why is it so hard to own property anymore? Why is it hard to own cars, own your phone? Like, why are we stuck in leases and buying or like renting like contracts? Why are companies pushing trade in your phone now and upgrade for an additional $600 to $800 off? And it's like, why can't we own things anymore? Why can't we own the things that we work for? Why like, on some level, on a philosophy level, I don't really mind the idea of like owning nothing because you truly do own nothing. You take nothing with you when you leave this world. But at the same time, I am existing right now. The object in front of me exists in front of me right now. It should technically, with all extensive something purposes.
Intents and purposes.
Yes, exactly. All of that. I should, by definition and idea and law and whatever, like, own that thing?
Yeah.
Have that thing to own?
That would be the point. You worked hard-earned money and you paid that money, and you should have the thing that you paid for. It's so much like cars. Cars nowadays. More and more and more, it's getting harder and harder and harder to repair those things because they're locking off everything, making everything more and more specialized, or covering it all in plastic, and you need specialty tools. They basically want you to buy from the dealership and go get it fixed for insane prices at the dealership. Makes it difficult to get it fixed or repaired at other places around. Like, oh my goodness, trying to work on a Tesla anywhere that's not a Tesla dealership. Is Nintendo going to be the Tesla of video gaming?
Some say they might already be.
No. Why did I reach that comparison? I hate it. We're in the wrong timeline.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And hopefully, with enough collective effort, we can get out of the wrong timeline together.
Yeah, come on, y'all. We can't take this kind of insanity anymore.
We can't really let this keep happening because I feel like it happens because we've let it happen. And honestly, it's not our fault for letting it happen. We weren't aware. But now that we're aware, I feel like I should do something about it. And I hope you guys feel like you do too.
I think it's time to take things back
to the people.
Yep. And less corporate
bullshit.
Greed and just screwing over the consumer at the end of the day.
Indeed. Well, to recap and to wrap it up, I think we've reached that point.
Yep.
We've talked today about Nintendo's, what is it called?
The End User License Agreement.
Thank you. The EULA. ELUL?
EULA. A lot of people call it just a EULA like it's a word, though.
Well, anyway.
Yep.
EULA, like vulva?
Sure. Yeah. Just like. Perfect.
Sorry. Well, anyway, we've talked today about the EULA, not vulva. We
That's
talked
for another
about
episode.
Maybe not. But we've talked about that. We've talked a little bit about consumerism and kind of how we can take back our power in a way. I think we talked about that. I think there were elements of that.
We definitely ought to, because that's what we need to do.
What else can we recap? Because I'm stupid.
Well, it's just kind of the whole situation about the Switch 2 and where it came from and where it's going and where it needs to go. That's just, gaming concern aside, it is kind of just corporate America as a whole right now.
We've entered scary Terry territory, and I think we can leave it.
Yeah, let's own our shit again and be able to fix and do whatever we want with it again, and
Not be worried about being sued or locked out of a device that effectively becomes a paperweight.
yep, and overcharge to do so or to just buy a whole new one. No, it's wasteful, it's unnecessary, it's greedy. Tired of it.
Corrupt.
So tired. I just wants to play Mario Kart in a big open world.
Same. And I want to play it with my friends and not worried that any of us are going to get kicked off of it.
Yeah, because we logged in too many times.
Or because we got mad at Nintendo and made angry posts and they decided to lock us out. I don't know. Humans with emotion and
Oh,
power
yeah.
like that is scary.
Don't use the same username as your public social that you're gonna rip into them on, I'm sure.
Yeah, be careful, Reddit users. I say that as a Reddit user. Anyway, thank you guys for tuning into today's episode. I hope in some level we taught, inspired, motivated, or entertained you. I had with me today Nathan, and I hope, I do. I hope I taught, or we taught, inspired, motivated, entertained. I hope by giving our time to you today, it did something good, and I hope you guys keep going, because at the end of the day, like, humanity and people matter, and if we come together, that's a beautiful thing.
Even when it's just over our silly video games.
Indeed.
It is art, and art is human expression. So,
This was episode 26 of the Digital Quill podcast. I'll see you guys next time. Bye.
and don't forget to take some deep breaths.
Indeed.
Get that blood flow going. Have fun, y'all.